Welcome everyone to this painting guide for 10mm Empire miniatures. As you can see, this is the more popular Reikland theme, but if you find anything in this guide useful, please leave me a like. Let's try to get more than 20. Regardless, let's get into it by starting with spraying them with a grey primer. I personally used Autotex Grey. Once that's dry, I started by using Army Painter's Filthy Cape on any parts which will eventually be white, like the clothing and feathers. I then used Army Painter Gunmetal to paint up all the armour and weapons. I used Vallejo Heavy Red to paint up one half of the clothing, alternating between my leg and arm on all the models in a row, before washing everything with Citadel's Nuln Oil. Once that was dry, I used Army Painter Tanned Flesh to paint up all the skin, before washing it with Citadel's Reikland Flesh Shade. Now it's on to the other details, starting with Vallejo Chocolate Brown, which I did some of the people's hair and beards with, whilst also painting up all the sword holders. I then used Army Painter Werewolf Fur to paint the hats and any satchels they have on their backs. I used Vallejo Flat Brown to paint up the wooden holders of the weapons. I used Vallejo Camo Medium Brown to paint up more hair and beards. Army Painter Banshee Brown to paint up the rest of the hair and beards, as well as any skulls models on the strips have. I used Vallejo Old Gold on belt buckles and the shield surround, and lastly used Army Painter's Leather Brown to paint up the leather straps or belts. Before washing everything, I had just painted up with Citadel's Agrax Earthshade. Now it's on to the layering, in which I always leave the shade in the recesses, and I started with Army Painter Spaceship Exterior by painting up all the areas of the cloth and feathers that will be white. I then used Vallejo Bloody Red to layer over the red areas, before lastly using Army Painter Barbarian Flesh on the skin, with this being what they look like when they are finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, please leave me a like if you found this useful, and hopefully you'll watch more of these as I slowly paint up an Empire Warmaster army.